Welcome back, crime fighters. Time for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place by helping us lock up the bad guys. I'm Chris Wright, your host, along with Chief Deputy Matthew Wade from the Sheriff's Office. And Matthew, it's always good to see you.
Glad to be back another week.
And always glad to come back with good news of some great work that the viewers have done.
They're on fire. I tell you what, our audience is on fire. 10 arrests. My goal is to run out of space to put them on the screen right there.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. 3,069 people all put in jail because of this show, and people willing to get involved and just watching. People see this show and they go, somebody said, well, he turned himself in. They didn't find him, but he was on the show.
He didn't turn himself in until he was on TV.
He's on TV, so the TV program put the pressure on him to make him do the right thing. So either way, we'll take it.
Absolutely. Coming up on Friday, we got a big event that we want everybody to show up for, the Calhoun County Relay for Life. This is just huge.
The Relay for Life is a touching thing. My mother was diagnosed with cancer last year. Everything's good, but you know, when it happens to your family and the seriousness of it, you want to do your part and help out, and so many people's touched by it.
A lot of people in this community have been talking about cancer here in this last week because of a little 7-year-old girl in East Aboga, Welborn Elementary, Abby. So we'll flex our muscles for you, Abby. We're Abby Strong as well. And we hope everybody comes out to support Abby and every other person who's been touched by cancer at the Relay for Life. A lot of folks don't realize how big this is in Calhoun County. The Calhoun County Relay for Life has several times been the largest Relay for Life in a 6-state region. And think about that.
That is awesome, you know, and every year you're involved with it and take personal pride in raising money for it. I play the bagpipes for them. I'll be there Friday night to play the bagpipes, and it's just an important event.
Yeah, if you've never been there for the Luminaria ceremony, as the lights go down and Matthew's marching around the field there with the bagpipes playing, you got all the little candles, and each one of those represents somebody whose life has been affected by cancer. Either they've survived it or they passed away because of it. It gets you chills. It really does.
It makes you put into perspective what's important in life.
Absolutely. So that's going to be happening this Friday night out at the McClellan Soccer Complex, and everyone is invited. Of course, a lot of folks are on teams and they know they're going to be there, but even if you haven't participated in any way leading up to this celebration, we want everybody out there on Friday night. And we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we'll have the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations, Sheriff Amerson, John Garlick, and Matthew Wade, my friends, for 10 years of Calhoun County's Most Wanted and over 3,000 arrests. Way to go, guys.
Congratulations, Calhoun County's Most Wanted and Crime Stoppers, for 10 great years. And thank you to the citizens of Calhoun County for putting 3,000 people behind the bars. Yay!
Looking for a new or used vehicle? AOD Federal Credit Union can help. We offer low interest rates and financing terms to work with your budget. We can save you time and money, whether it's at one of our convenient office locations or through one of our participating dealers. Visit an office, call, or head to AODFCU.com to get your best deal now. Low auto loan rates, always at AOD Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions may apply. To obtain additional details and cost information, call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
a crackhead,
drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch
like me.
I once was
homeless,
broken, sad,
just lost.
But now I am
sober,
happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Hi, I'm Crystal Meth. Try me once, I might let you go. But if you try me twice, then I'll own your soul. I take kids from their parents and parents from their kids. I'll take and take until you have no more to give. I'll take everything from you, your looks and your pride. I'll ravage your body and control your mind. Now that you've met me, what will you do? Will you try me or not? It's all up to you.
Hi, I'm Katina Houston with Family Links, and this is the parenting tip of the week. When parents are absent or unable to raise their children, grandparents and other relatives are often the ones who step in. Raising a second generation brings many rewards, including the fulfillment of giving kin a sense of security, developing a deeper relationship, and keeping the family together. It also comes with many challenges. No matter how much you love your grandkids or kin, taking them into your home requires major adjustments. Most grandparents and relatives weren't expecting to be raising kids again at this stage in their life. At times, the physical, emotional, and financial demands may feel overwhelming. It is vitally important that they take care of themselves and get the support they need. The majority of the grandparents and relatives need information about available services, programs, and resources in their community. They also need assistance in assessing these services and programs. Relatives often identify a need for financial assistance, respite, care, and help dealing with governmental agencies to assess benefits for their grandchildren or kin. More than a third of the relatives also communicate a need for child care and assistance to address their grandchildren or children's emotional and/or behavioral problems. And a fourth indicate a need for legal assistance in order to best fulfill their responsibilities to the children. For more information on support groups for grandparents and other relatives raising kin, please contact Family Links at 256-820-5911.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up this week, Eric Martin. Mr. Martin, last known to be living in Lincoln, he's wanted for failure to appear on theft of property first. And meet Brandy Moore. Miss Moore, last known to be living in Heflin, she's wanted for possession of Ford's instrument second and failure to pay. And this is Carl Jennings. Mr. Jennings, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for probation violation for unlawful manufacture of a controlled substance. And take a look at Tiffany Norman. Miss Norman, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for probation violation on unlawful distribution of a controlled substance and chemical endangerment of a child. We need to find her and get her off the street. And this is Cody Haney. Mr. Haney, last known to be living in Center, he's wanted for failure to appear on burglary third. And meet Heather Stapler. Miss Stapler, last known to be living in Grant, Alabama, she's wanted on probation violation of theft of property first. And here is Antoine Trout. Mr. Trout, last known to be living in Trussville, he's wanted on probation violation for Sex Offender Registration and Notification Act. He is a sex offender. Let's find him. And last up for our first half, Angel Cook. Miss Cook, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for probation revocation on identity theft. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
We'll have some more bad guys for you here in just a few minutes, but right now we want to find out about the inner workings of the Circuit Clerk's office. Kim McCarson, the Chief Deputy Circuit Clerk, is with us. Kim, it's good to see you.
Yes, thank you. It's an honor to be here. I'm excited.
And today we've summoned you for this show, but I understand last week you summoned Matthew.
That's right. That's right. And he was one of the unfortunate ones and didn't get selected. But he, I think this was their first time ever being selected.
40 years old, and I got
summoned.
my first ever jury summons, and I was excited about it. I said, hey, I'm going. I'm ready. You know, I want to go do my civic duty. I showed up, and they're looking at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got a jury summons. Like, you could have told us. I said, no, I want to do this. This is important. It makes the system go around, and I presented myself for jury duty. They didn't select me. But I did my part.
I can see why.
Well, in the way that this selection goes, it was not what you think. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this was a grand jury.
That's right.
In the way they do grand jury, they do it by lot. And,
that's right.
And I just wasn't chosen by lot.
Mm-hmm. We just put all the names in all the names that aren't excused, and it's actually what we call the Alabama lottery. And we put all the names in, and we roll the hopper, and we just select 18 names.
We do have a lottery in Alabama.
We do.
It's legal.
It is legal. Yes, we must make that
You
for sure.
don't get too excited about being a winner, do you?
No. But however, Matthew was, he really wanted to be chosen, so he was not excited.
It is important, and I've heard people say that it's hard to really get a jury of your peers today because so many people end up, trying to get off jury duty, and a lot of them have very legitimate reasons why they're not available at that particular time. Maybe they're the one person that takes care of another person and they're needed at home. There are lots of different reasons.
There are.
But it is very important. You never know when it may be you or a family member of yours, one of your loved ones is on trial, and you want a jury there that really represents the community.
That's right. It's very important. And we do have a lot of excuses prior to that day of the jury organization, and whether they're caregivers or it's a medical issue, and a lot of times they're just full-time students. But it is hard to get a jury of your peers. But we feel like we do make that happen for them, and we give all of the defendants their rights. And we're just excited that we can offer everyone that civic duty.
Tell you, I really had a pleasant experience. Outside that, I already knew some of those people, but the guy next to me looked at me and says, I really want to do this. And the woman behind me starts talking about being a small business owner, and it was really just a great experience. But the Constitution's first sentence, we the people. And we the people have to run our government, and this is part of running our government.
And every time we hand off and say, I want somebody else to handle that for me, we lose a little bit of that democracy.
We're not saying we the people at that point. We're saying...
Yeah, I got scared one time because I got a jury summons, but I didn't actually receive it until after the date that I was supposed to show up. I was living in Talladega County for a while. Then when I got married, moved back into Calhoun County, and they sent the jury summons to my old address, and it got forwarded eventually, and I get it in the mail. I'm like, oh, I didn't show up. Is somebody looking for me?
And we do have that to happen, and a lot of times there will be a citizen that does call me, and we defer them to another date so that they can serve. And that, since that is their civic duty, they really do need to serve, if at all possible.
All right. So how do we decide who gets those summonses?
Well, we push a button and order them. I know that sounds crazy, but we push a button, and it goes through Montgomery's system, and they present to our office a venari. It's called a venari, and it has all of the names and addresses of those individuals that were selected to serve at that particular time. And it comes actually from your driver's license or the voting list. And that's how the names are selected from the Department of Public Safety.
So any adult that has a driver's license or a non-driver's ID or is on a voting list, they're eligible to be selected.
That's exactly right, yes.
All right. So Matthew managed to go 40 years before getting his first. Is that common or is that uncommon?
That's common. My mother, who has been living in this county all of her life, I'm not going to say how old she is, but she just received her first ever. And it's been 50 years at least. So it's common. That happens. And we do have husband and wives who actually happened by chance to get a summons at the same day. Wow. And that's very unusual, but it has happened several times.
I really enjoyed it. I kept calling names out, and I'm thinking, it's going to happen any minute. And I didn't get chosen, so I left.
So Kim, when you're selecting this pool of people, how many people, I know we end up with 12 on the jury.
Yes.
How many people are selected to potentially show up to represent that 12?
I order 450 people. And of the 450 people that are summoned to appear, our office fields excuses prior to that date. And so we usually yield about 125 for a jury trial week, which is great. That would take care of 3 jury trial panels. And lots of times, those cases will settle out of court before we even get a chance to get their jury together. So
if you're one of those 450 people, the odds of you actually serving are still very small.
Yes, that's right.
All right. Well, jury selection is not the only thing that happens with the circuit clerk's office. We want to talk about some other things, including election. I know that's coming up very soon, so you've got a very important role with that. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes when we come back on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations on Calhoun County Most Wanted and Crime Stoppers for 10 years on the air and 3,000 arrests.
Congratulations to Calhoun County's Most Wanted, 10 years on the air, and the Crime Stoppers for their 3,000 arrests. Great job, guys. Keep up the good work.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
a crackhead,
drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch
like me.
I once was
homeless,
broken, sad,
just lost.
but now I am
sober,
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Looking for a new or used vehicle? AOD Federal Credit Union can help. We offer low interest rates and financing terms to work with your budget. We can save you time and money, whether it's at one of our convenient office locations or through one of our participating dealers. Visit an office, call, or head to AODFCU.com to get your best deal now. Low auto loan rates, always at AOD Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions may apply. To obtain additional details and cost information, call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com. Federally insured by the NCUA.
I'm Calhoun County Sheriff Larry Amerson. Don't risk your life and the lives of others by texting while driving. Put the phone down or safely pull over. Looking down for 1 second is all it really takes. Is it really worth it?
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, John McLemore. Mr. McLemore, last known to be living in Hobson City. He's wanted for failure to pay child support, the face of a deadbeat dad. And this is Brandon Winningham. Mr. Winningham, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for writing bad checks. Take a look at Roy McCullum. Mr. McCullum, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to pay child support, another deadbeat dad. And this is Bobby Freeman. Mr. Freeman, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for violation of a domestic violence protection order. And meet Jose Perez. Mr. Perez, last known to be living in Montgomery. He's wanted for failure to pay child support, another deadbeat dad. And meet Ivan Herbert. Mr. Herbert, last known to be living in Gadsden. He's wanted for writing bad checks. And last up in our lineup this week, Jabril Pearson. Mr. Pearson, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to pay child support. We end with the face of a deadbeat dad. And that's our lineup for this week. If you have any information on these folks, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers 256-238-1414.
I feel out of place here on the show this week. We've got two chief deputies and then lowly old me. I don't even know what I am, but
you're important.
Chief Deputy Matthew Wade and Chief Deputy Kim McCarson, Chief Deputy Circuit Clerk. Obviously not the sheriff's office. We can't have two chief deputies in the sheriff's office.
Of course, I love Matthew. I wouldn't mind working with Matthew every day.
She does look better than me.
That's not
I mean,
true.
I can.
I wasn't going to go there.
It's obvious. I mean, it's really obvious. So.
We've got a very important date coming up, and a lot of people don't realize how important it is because the primary election is on June 3rd. A lot of people come into primaries with the idea of, well, you know, I'm not really a Democrat or I'm not really a Republican. I don't need to vote in the primary. I'm going to wait until the general election. And they don't realize a lot of the offices are really chosen before that general election. If you don't vote on June 3rd, there are some offices you won't get to vote for.
That's right. It's very important. And I'm not sure if you're aware, Chris, but that duty has been delegated to the county commission now, and they're handling the absentee ballots, which the circuit clerk's office has handled for so many years.
Congratulations
I
on
know,
a little bit off the plate.
I think so, yes. It is a stressful time, and it's important. You know, you want to give everybody the opportunity to vote, so it is very important. And Shasta Platt's the absentee election manager, handling those from the Ken Joyner Calhoun County Administration Building. And it's going to make it convenient for all voters that they can register right next door to vote and go right next door to apply for an absentee ballot. So it's just convenience that it's all in one location, and it'll just make it a lot easier for the voter.
Now, what are some things that people don't realize about absentee voting?
Well, this year the new law is in order to apply for an absentee ballot, you have to present a photo ID. And you'll have to make sure that you're in the office 5 days prior to the election to apply for a ballot. That is the deadline. And
so you can apply for it 5 days. It doesn't have to be in 5 days before, but you have to apply for it 5 days before?
Right. It's a two-step process. So you have to apply for a ballot before you can obtain a ballot. So you can apply, the last day to apply for a ballot is May the 29th, 5 days prior to the primary election. And you will have until that Tuesday to bring your ballots, or Monday to bring your ballots into the office. But that Monday is going to be a holiday. So that's very important to take note that you won't be able to bring your ballots into the office. The last day to bring your ballots into the office is on Friday.
A lot of people will be off on vacation on June the 3rd. It's prime vacation time, and people may say, well, you know, it's not that important. But Matthew, sometimes these elections are decided by the absentee ballots.
There is, you know, some people don't understand what a primary is. A primary is a time when Republicans and Democrats have their candidates and they vote. When you're in a primary, you have to choose to vote in a Republican primary or the Democratic primary. Primaries are where the Democratic Party people and the Republican Party people have elections to determine who is their candidate for each office. Particular, work for the sheriff's office. If there's 2 people running as Republicans for sheriff and 2 people running as Democrats for sheriff, you're only going to be able to choose one side or the other. And the primary is to determine which of those 2 in the Republican and which of those 2 in the Democrat will be that party's candidate to run against each other in a general election. But if there's not somebody on both sides, primary winner wins it all.
And Kim, that's the case with several of the races that will be on the ballot here on June the 3rd. There may be somebody in the Republican Party running against somebody, but nobody on the Democratic ticket. So the primary winner will be the de facto winner unless, you know, a write-in candidate could potentially win, but that just doesn't happen.
That's right. You do, even when applying for an absentee ballot, you have to designate the party to which you're wanting the ballot for. And it is important. Everybody needs to go vote. Voting is a civic duty, just like jury duty. And you really need to go vote. It's very important.
And you were telling me before we started the show about a mistake that a lot of people make when they're sending in those ballots that causes the ballot not to be counted.
That's right. Those instructions are explicit, and please read the instructions, because if you don't put your proper ID in the proper envelope, it won't get counted. And we want everyone's vote to be counted.
Yeah, you've got to have a copy of your photo ID there with that ballot, but if it's inside the ballot envelope, that envelope's not going to even get opened.
That's
they
right.
need to see it before they get to that envelope.
That's exactly right. We don't open the ballot envelope, and therefore we can't check for identification if it's not on the outside of the ballot.
So basically just follow instructions. When you get that ballot, it will have very specific instructions.
That's right.
And when it's something as sensitive as an election, you have to go very specifically by the rules.
That's exactly right, Chris.
All right. So again, if people want to do this, to get registered to vote or to pick up an absentee ballot, where can they do it and how long do they have?
They need to pick up an application to vote by absentee at Shasta Platt's office at the Ken Joyner Calhoun County Administration Building. It's 1702 Noble Street. It's right next door to the voter register's office. And the last day to pick up an application is May the 29th. And you'll have until the day before the election to bring in a ballot, but you have to apply before the 29th or on the 29th.
All right. Well, Kim, thank you and good luck. Yeah, I know it's going to be a hectic time for you.
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
We're going to be back in just a few moments. We'll have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show, and we'll have our crazy criminal of the week. Matthew, we're going to get to hear the phrase, "Here, hold my beer."
I hear that pretty often, you know, in stories that's told to me about people we arrested. Well, it all started.
Well, this one's going to be a little bit different when we come back on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations to Calhoun County's Crime Stoppers and the Most Wanted program that airs on the TV all the time, and for being on the air for 10 years, and also for arresting over 3,000 people. Great job, guys.
More than half of kids 12 to 17 years old have personal web pages, videos, or blogs. It's called social networking. As a parent, you should be monitoring your child's web pages. Find out the name of their site and go to it at least 3 times a week. Check for inappropriate material, for pictures, comments, and messages. Make sure your child doesn't post their personal information. Software is available to help you monitor your child's internet use. I'm Calhoun County Sheriff Larry Amerson. For more information, log on to our website or call the number on your screen.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead.
Drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
A wretch.
like me.
I once was.
Homeless.
Broken, sad,
just lost.
But now I am
Sober.
happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Looking for a new or used vehicle? AOD Federal Credit Union can help. We offer low interest rates and financing terms to work with your budget. We can save you time and money, whether it's at one of our convenient office locations or through one of our participating dealers. Visit an office, call, or head to AODFCU.com to get your best deal now. Low auto loan rates, always at AOD Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions may apply. To obtain additional details and cost information, call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com. Federally insured by the NCUA.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask you to put on your deer stalkers and help our investigators with these cases. First up on your caseload this week, between April 25th and April 26th, an orange Husqvarna riding lawnmower was stolen from this residence on Patterson Street in Anniston. And on April 29th, this residence on Sulphur Springs Road in Lincoln was broken into. It is unknown at this time what has been stolen. And on April 29th, a black and gray GMC Envoy was broken into. The vehicle was parked at this residence on Mount View Lane in Alexandria. They got away with some cash. And on May 1st, the suspect or suspects shot into a white Ford F-150 truck that was parked at a residence on Alexandria Wellington Road in Alexandria. The vehicle was thankfully unoccupied at the time. And between May 1st and May 2nd, an unknown suspect or suspects shot into a residence on Dearmonville Road South in Anniston. On May 2nd, a cast iron end table and planter were stolen from this residence on Oriental Drive in Alexandria. And sometime on April 25th, this residence on Pleasant Valley Road in Jacksonville was broken into. Assorted jewelry, a smoker grill, toolbox, and assorted tools were stolen from that location. And last up on your caseload this week, on May 4th, a white 2005 Honda Civic was stolen from this residence on Roy Webb Road in Jacksonville. And that's it for your Crime Stoppers cases this week. If you have any information on this, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers 256-238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Here, hold my beer. That's a phrase that if you hear that at the beginning of a story, you know it's going to be a good story, right?
Something about to happen. I always say that Mo and Ron shows up right after that.
Right.
When they show up together, bad stuff happens.
Well, our story this week comes from Georgia, where a man had an accident. His car ran into a patrol car of a police officer. As the police officer asks the driver for his ID, the driver says, "Here, hold my beer."
You love it. I mean, really, that's the kind of stuff that really makes police officers love their job. They just kind of grin a little bit and go, "You got to be kidding me."
He was not kidding. He was intoxicated, as a matter of fact, to the point to where he did not realize that he had run into the patrol car.
I'm sure going to jail drunk took the edge off, but wow.
Here, hold my beer.
Yeah, here you go.
All right. That's all the time that we have for this week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. If you joined us late and you didn't get to see the lineup, you can go to the Facebook page or you can go to the website. The information's all there as well. You can also go to the TV24 website to watch this show in its entirety if you want to show somebody the story about the guy who said, "Here, hold my beer," to the cop after he had the accident. You can do that online now. And we will be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.